All right, everybody. I just have to do this one thing, and then I'll invite Bobby, and then we'll be off to the races. I just have to change this one build, my FanDuel construction here, and then we'll get going. Just 1 second. Yeah, we got a lot to get to. Let me just do this first, so I know that this is taken care of, and then we'll fire this off. And okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, let me get an invite. Let's see 1 second. I'll invite guests. And then we'll send this. Text him just in case. 1 sec. Good. All right. Let me get my sheets up here, and then we'll address the incredible elephant in the room, that being the rain, which has now moved into Linkoping. We had my son has some friends over. We're going to barbecue, and apparently it's going to storm. And the storm is going to be affecting the Mets game, apparently, with DeGrom, with a zillion% ownership, who's kind of a lock. So it's gonna be a wild one leading up until lock to see what to do about this weather. What I am going to do, hopefully, I don't know if I'm going to do it live. Yeah, exactly. So this is the official radar. It's like right now it looks as though its clouds are coming, and Mrs. Sheets has announced that it's going to rain. Oh, there's Bobby. Yeah, so here's Bobby. So Mrs. Sheets has announced that this game is orange. She is giving this a full orange. So I don't know. I mean, we were already moved to barbecuing side that we had been planning for a while. And we're not worried so much about like what they're worried about. Like the Mets are worried about the first wave, and then they could delay it, then the second wave. So they got more to worry about than we do. We could just move it inside. It's like you just open the roof or close the roof or whatever it is. But you get DeGrom at 70% ownership, with now these legit. It's not even so much. Well, it is rain concerns. But the Mets are, and DeGrom too, but the Mets are so paranoid about DeGrom's stats in general that if they feel as though there's even going to be a delay, they just assume, they might postpone this thing. So I don't know. We're just going to keep waiting. But I think what I'm doing, Bobby, I am just at least going to be somewhat efficient. I'm making 2 builds. I'm going to do a build with the Met game playing and a build with the Met game not playing. So at least if they wait, and I do have time to make a late second decision, that I will have had that, you know what I mean? That I'm not going to be in full scramble mode. I don't know what to do. What do you think? What are you going to do?
It's hard because I don't really want to play anybody else.
Right.
In all fairness, it's kind of frustrating a little bit because I actually had a build on my main lineup on DraftKings that had Nola and DeGrom, and I actually have come more on to Nola today just for the strikeout upside. Even in that the weather is against him and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm struggling with this a little bit because it's the only game we really should be worrying about. It looks like,
Yep.
And it feels weird. Now, how much of the ownership comes off of him? We've talked about that before.
Yep.
My guess is not that much, depending on what Roth says, to be honest, and other people throughout the industry. But as of right now, it definitely does worry me. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. So that gets into let's start with FanDuel then. Like, what are we doing on FanDuel otherwise? You could drop down and play NOLA. You could drop down. I mean, there's really not like a lot of guys who I feel like I really want to play as my one starting pitcher. So I think Taillon would be the next guy after NOLA for me.
So first thing is to address Banks for a second. Yes, we are going to go over the NBA at some point. And what I'm definitely doing there is same thing. I already did. This is why I'm going to be really prepared for this. I have two builds, one with Giannis in and one with Giannis out. So I am ready for that. With respect to what I'm doing on FanDuel, K9 Bronco has just answered the question for me. If DeGrom, if I fear that he's going to be out, I think Ian Anderson might be my favorite play on FanDuel. But I like you mentioned, I like Nola, I like Rodon. I think that Ian Anderson is going to be the like if there's no DeGrom, I think that he'll be the low owned one. I think that Rodon and Nola will just eat all of the DeGrom money, as they probably should. But I'm not getting that. So yeah, that on FanDuel, that's if I get word that whatchamacallit, that DeGrom might be out, I'll probably split my ownership between those three. Probably Ian Anderson, Rodon, and Nola.
No love for the cheap Taillon in the matchups?
Yeah, I'd rather Ian Anderson than Taillon.
Okay. All right, I can get behind some Ian Anderson. I'm still struggling on my main one what to do. I think what the answer I'm going to end up with is play Nola and pay down at pitching on DraftKings in my main lineup.
Okay.
It seems like a little bit hedgy and stuff. The weird part is what I fear for Nola is getting through the innings. I feel good about the strikeouts. This guy hasn't pitched 6 innings in his last 3 starts. You have Rodon, who's the other chalky guy who hasn't pitched 6 innings in his last 2 starts. So getting that quality start, much less the win, doesn't feel so sure for Nola. Now, I think it's better likelihood for Rodon. But yeah, I'm struggling with it a little bit. I'm going to probably have to see about the weather before I finish my build. I don't want to have no DeGrom in my big ones, so I probably will end up with him in one of my 2 big ones if it's concerning. I do think the upside is too high, and if he's the guy who, if he goes off now, Nola could actually get there too, but no one else. I don't think. Maybe Ohtani if he has one of those just unbelievable games, but it's a tough lineup that he's facing. He would be the only other one.
The thing I was going to mention, by the way, one thing that I'm really changed, by the way, now that I think about going back to DK pitching, is I'm not as locked into Ohtani. I'm much more spread out. I said that was going to be the case. You know what I mean? I said that either ownership was going to pick way up on Ohtani. There was something wrong with my projection and stuff, and that's it's a couple of outliers with Ohtani. So he's now for me just kind of a guy. You know what I mean? And so if DeGrom were out, he'd be just kind of a guy. So for me, those SP2s under DeGrom for me would be Ohtani, Anderson again, and they're slightly better for me than the Dunnings and stuff like that. But all those guys are still kind of very similar to me. The Lopez, Dunning, Taillon, or whatever. If we fear that DeGrom's going to be out, where would you be on DraftKings pitching?
Well, so the other guys I've got are Ohtani, Taillon as my favorites, and that's pretty much the other list of guys I'm using. I'm not playing a ton of lineups. I don't mind any of the other options that, like, you could make a good case. Hey, how could you play Ohtani over these guys? Look what just happened to Ohtani, and he gets blown up sometimes and all that. I'm going to go with the K upside personally. So that's just me. I think Rodon, I'm just not getting to Rodon very much. I'd rather spend down at that point. He's been amazing this year. I definitely feel like that might be a mistake on my part, but I have him in a tiny bit, but not much. So I would go Ian Anderson, Castillo, Wainwright, or Tyon down at the bottom. But I don't really – I like Tyon just as much as I like those other guys. So I think I'd rather just play more Tyon, to be honest.
You want to talk about the hitting a little bit?
Yeah, it's I still like the stacks. Unfortunately, a lot of people probably are going to like, but there's a lot of ways you can get different with them, and that is a little bit of what I'm doing. I really do like Toronto here, and I think you don't need to play a full stack of them. You could just try and get some pieces of that offense, or you could play the full stack, which is expensive, but we can afford it a lot easier now. And then I really like Texas. It's horrible to really like Texas. I'm aware of this, but you get the cheap monster catcher, John Hicks, the greatest catcher of all time, averaging 15.7 fantasy points per game. He's only played 3 games and he's hit 3 home runs. I'll ride that. So I like Hicks, Dahl, and Gallo, and then I like especially on FanDuel, you got to like Nate Lowe.
Just one addition to the Philly situation, you know what I mean, which you liked really early, and now, I mean, as we suspected, they'd be pretty highly owned, is that they added Jankowski at 2,100 in the outfield.
That doesn't help me any. That's a terrible thing for us, actually. I mean, I looked at that, and that was the first thing to make you jump off the Phillies. You have
I'm just saying one thing that I wasn't aware that was going to be the case. I didn't even.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I didn't think it would. I didn't. It just, of course, how could we expect a guy who has he even played? I don't think he's played yet. This year, he's not much of a hitter, and I guess he's played a few games that I missed. His one start or one of his 2 starts, he did hit a home run. You can take that, but I'm not using him any. I'd rather just play David Dahl at 2,300.
Okay.
And there's plenty of other guys who are valued. Ben Gamel stands out. If I don't have any Gamels tonight, I'm probably going to regret it. So I probably should make sure to get on that. But yeah, it's Washington, Philly, Texas, and Toronto for me, with some Atlanta, especially on FanDuel. You get some cheap Atlanta options with Swanson and Heredia, and then you could even throw in as your shortstop if you want to, double shortstop weird build. If you were going to pay all the way up for Toronto and DeGrom, you could throw in Arcia as the other shortstop. So it's also a very unlikely build, and if for some reason Arcia and Swanson have a decent,
I have some news. We have Eric Fetty starting for the Nationals.
Okay, that makes me like San Diego again. Okay, so less of a full bullpen game then with Fetty in there. And he's actually been better this year than he's been in the past. Hasn't given up the insane power, and he still gets hit hard. Had a really good 3-game stretch against where I think that they shut out the team 3 games in a row. He didn't get any complete game shutouts, but he was a part of 3 shutouts in a row, which you never think you'd see with Eric Fetty. But I would add San Diego as my other team if I had to play one, and I do have some exposure and some interest in them for sure. So
I'm still getting a lot of Philly.
If you're going to play Phillies, try to focus on. I mean, like Harper and Gregorius are the main guys you should be playing now. Real Muto with his price and upside and everything is just way too cheap. But and then so is Segura cheap. But the obvious, play the lefties against Arrieta. Like in general, this game could be with the wind blowing in, and it's probably going to hit one out on him. So Gregorius and Harper are the main ones you want to try to get as much of as, in my opinion, that you can.
Oh, you know what I was going to ask you? Okay, so we talked about Cincinnati a little bit. I'm concerned if I play what's his name that he's going to get pinch hit for again on me, the Aquino.
Yeah, he might, but so might a bunch of other guys in that team. I mean, it's just
okay.
It's just the game was tight, and he doesn't. I mean, he's probably gonna. He may not miss an at bat, but yeah, I mean, that's just you because you remember it. Everybody.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah. So there's plenty of pinch hit risks for a lot of these guys. But I understand it. I agree that is a little bit something to pay attention to. But I wouldn't keep him out of Cincinnati mini stacks or anything like that. Like I like Cincinnati too today. I'm just not getting to them because I'm not playing as many lineups. But I do think that Cincinnati, I think he makes a lot of sense. You also have, by the way, we haven't got a Washington lineup yet. We did. We should have one if we got their pitcher. Let's see. This is the Washington lineup.
I don't know. I just got a pitcher update there.
Hopefully that means we got their lineup because that would be Zimmerman at 2.1K against the lefty. But I don't have the official lineup yet. Let me just double check that. Yeah, I still don't have it yet. All right, so why is this still going on? Get off my phone. Get off my phone.
I do love that we had both.
Anyway, so I would like to see the other weather update in a little bit to decide what we were really going to do here because it's tough. It's tough to know what to do. You see the Cubs lineup, and it's just there's plenty of strikeouts in there for Nola, but it doesn't feel like a slate where I need to go Nola and Rodon when I want to pay up for hitters. So maybe I just won't do it on DraftKings. I'm really stuck on pitching, to be honest with you. I think Taillon and
I'll play a slate with I'll figure something out if they tell me the Mets game is going to be postponed. You know what I mean? I can live with it. I just the uncertainty is like really annoying.
Yeah, and that's the most likely thing I think that's going to continue, unfortunately.
And it's not like somebody like you said that it's just kind of borderline. I may as well just. I would normally just say, okay, I'm just going to just not play any of them. It's not worth it. But because he has such, his projection, everything is just so much higher than everybody else that
ceiling floor, yeah, it's way higher. But yeah, so now I play Rodon and Nola. Wow, do I really want to do that though? That's what I have to ask myself. It's a tough one here today. I don't feel like I feel like it was a pretty straightforward slate that got made very complicated by this New York situation.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm.
Let me try to scour some weather. Let me see if I can't find anything aside from Roth and the usual guys. I'm going to poke around for that.
Poke around a little bit. I'm going to see if there's any questions in chat in the meantime. 10 minutes from Target's Field, light rain. None of us are worried about. Target Field. Hold on. Sorry. I'm getting my stadiums mixed up. Target Field, isn't that Minnesota? I never get the names. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is Minnesota. Yeah. I don't think anybody's worried in Minnesota personally anymore. So thanks, Big Ticket. I think we're good there.
With the weather looking awful tonight, looks like weather delays. Steve Cohen says, looks like weather delays, but they're going to try to get the game in. Federalist exclusive. The Mets game will be delayed due to weather.
Yeah, I would be very careful about that game. I think I will take DeGrom out of my main lineup.
If you're at the Mets game, please prepare for rough conditions with thunderstorms from 6:55 to 7:35, followed by gradual improvement. Should be good to go by 8 p.m. Mets weather, 13 minutes. The line of thunderstorms approaching the area. The game will be delayed as it moves through. Still thinking they could play it after a delayed start, but have to keep an eye for further development behind it. That's from Mets weather.
Yikes.
Mets police weather teams tells you right now this game could be potentially delayed by weather. Weather. So someone says I'm bringing a poncho.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Can't quite get exactly what I want over here. Well, fortunately, not fortunately, but that's the only decision we really have in that game, right? I don't think either you or I were interested in anyone else.
You mean hitting or anything like that? No, yeah, I wasn't.
Nor am I. I think Taillon might be my main guy on DraftKings, on FanDuel now. I sort of like the Ian Anderson thing, but I think that Ian Anderson in general has more upside, but Taillon actually should have as good a K stuff, and against Seattle, it should be open for him a little bit. He's been bad. I don't know what to say on this one. I feel stuck on that particular decision too. If I were to play, what are you saving? I'm trying to figure out what I would have to compromise to jump up 1,300. A little bit I'd have to compromise, but nothing crazy.
Well, I'm curious. What does a build look like for me with no DeGrom? Let me just see what that looks like. I took DeGrom out. Say I built 20 minutes. Let me see who would be. I imagine that I would get the more expensive hitting because let me just find out. I'm going to predict that Ohtani would be the highest owned in my builds. Let me just see. It's like amazing. DeGrom and Giannis, both in doubt.
I don't think Giannis is in doubt.
You think he's playing or not?
I'd be shocked. I'd be really surprised if he doesn't play.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, if he gets a midday upgrade, I have no reason to think right off the bat that he's not going to play.
Yeah, so as I expected.
I didn't even think that. Even when you told me this morning, I still had my doubts. I wasn't buying it necessarily. It doesn't make sense.
We're going to call this one.
With Tyon, I can play Tatis and Bichette and stack Toronto that way. That looks pretty nice to me.
No DeGrom. I built with no DeGrom. I would get who I thought, like all those Lopez, Ohtani, Cuetos, Andersons. I wouldn't get the Rodon at that much. It would be like a pay down thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously I would have a shitload of Toronto. There it is.
There it is.
Now let me see what FanDuel would look like.
I mean, why aren't we playing more? Like, I really feel like if it was like an unknown pitcher going in, much less a pitcher that actually has a ceiling to pitch 7 innings, we would probably be playing Tyon if we had thought there was like enough upside for him to even pitch long enough. Just feels weird that no one's going to do it.
Play Tyon? Mets game's officially delayed.
Delayed. Okay. How are you getting this stuff before me? Oh, I just turned my phone off. That's why.
Well, I got this. This is a different site. This is like the Awesemo flashes,
Yeah, no, usually I get those
push notification or something like that.
Yeah.
Let's see, what was I just doing? Oh, FanDuel, right? So if I did a FanDuel new build.
I do think people are going to come off DeGrom now.
Oh, well, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, and I look at him as a really good long shot tournament play.
Yeah, but how much of a long shot is he going to be? You know what I mean? Is he going to come from like 60% down to 45? I mean,
I'll tell you in 7 minutes.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, somehow I end up with a Washington player like in every lineup because they're so cheap. It just keeps happening. Or Harrison or Zimmerman.
Yeah.
Just a cheap filler piece. You know what I mean? I do like San Diego. I think that they'll get overlooked as usual. And I'm a fan of that. So,
what about if they announce the Mets game is going to play and then like DeGrom gets scratched to make it a bullpen?
That's possible, by the way. That's on the table.
Yeah.
Well on the table, in my opinion.
So a no DeGrom FanDuel build for me would have a bunch of pitchers and a bunch of Toronto. Yep, that's it. We were talking about boy, it'd be nice to have Toronto, but you can't because you have to play DeGrom.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Keep in mind that game does lock, and DeGrom getting scratched in the 90 minutes. So to Roth's latest thing, thanks Owsley, and he posted it in Discord. But he's got it as wow, it looks really.
It's grim.
It's pretty grim, but especially for DeGrom, you know what I mean? Like if it was Scherzer,
yeah.
I would expect him to go out there and pitch an hour and a half after they were supposed to start, and then be ready to go after the delay. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not how they treat him.
Nope.
So, yeah, definitely a little bit worried there.
Oh God.
And if Mrs. Sheet says it is, we're in real big trouble then, guys.
We've already moved our game inside.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Toronto, Philly. So we have the games lock at 7:05, right? Is that right?
Right. One thing for people to do is if they feel comfortable with it, you can basically make up an exact pitch switch. If you were going to play DeGrom and Ohtani or anybody in that range, you can just switch it over to Rodon and Nola if you still want the premium upside. I don't think it's necessary to do that, but I do think you can do that if you want to.
I'm trying to think of a reason why. I'm trying to think of whether it's appropriate if it's like 6:55 and you have to make a decision. I have this weird feeling you're not supposed to hedge. I think you're supposed to just pick one. You know what I mean? Like I think you're supposed to either play 0 or 100.
I totally think that's wrong, but
I know.
Just don't do it in your big buy-ins. It's very simple. Just keep it off the what's it called?
Maybe you're just supposed to play 0.
I think that if you're going to play a bunch of lineups, there's no reason not to have exposure to the best pitcher if you think there's a good chance the game will play. And the other part is what can DeGrom do in the 90 minutes where it's supposed to be clear, which could turn into 2 hours.
That's true.
That could be quick enough. You know what I mean? But it does feel weird. It does. The more I think it through, like it does feel wrong. We were looking for ways to fade anyway. There's guys you can spend down on who don't have anywhere near the ceiling, but they certainly have enough upside to justify a play. Yeah.
Let's try this then. Let's see. This is what we're going to do. So instead of doing, like I said, one full build with DeGrom, one without, let me just put the DeGrom one in and let's just cap him at like 30%. This is FanDuel. So let's cap him at 30%, 30%.
Yeah.
So we cap him at 30%. Then, my top pitcher becomes, well, DeGrom at 30% would be your man. It would be my top guy would be Tyon, actually.
That's what I have.
Yep. And then my stacks, then I would get Philly, Toronto, Atlanta. Yeah.
So mostly I'm going to come off DeGrom, I think, is my final answer as of right now. Just seen the story too many times with the Mets.
You think?
For me, personally, I can't speak to what everyone else is
doing.
Well,
that's what I know you're not speaking for anybody else. I need your
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I do think Valdez is in play also, but I just don't love I didn't love it before. I actually kind of like it better now. To answer Tracy's question, Valdez is a really good real-life pitcher. The strikeouts are not something we are desperate for. There's something that we're desperate for that he doesn't really provide. But I think he's absolutely in play. I just don't have him quite as high as I have the other guys.
Let me ask something. Is the good real-life pitcher narrative acceptable at 9,800, or is that just too expensive to pay?
Well, on this slate, it suddenly becomes in play, right?
Okay, yeah, I guess you're right.
But in general, I would usually not want to do that for the 9,800 guys. It doesn't feel great.
So you kind of alluded to this. So what are you going to do in your bigger buy-ins? Like, first of all, okay, let me ask you. So how many buy-ins do you have in big buy-ins? In other words, like how many entries do you have in what you consider big buy-ins? Like 5?
Well, what's a big buy-in? I don't know.
I don't know. In your own opinion, that's what I'm saying.
So I'm playing one of each of the 770 whatevers, and then I'm playing the 250, a few of the 77s, the 88.
Okay, so let's just consider the 250 and the 777. So we have 3, right? So of those 3 tournaments, 3 entries, how many of those do you think is appropriate for you to play DeGrom in? 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be the most.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like there's not 30 other guys. I mean, there's like we even said, Valdez can come into play a little bit.
Right.
Even a guy who's look, the Angels lineup isn't anything to write home about. I don't love Eovaldi in general, but he's even fine. You know, it's Rodon obviously is going to be the chalkier one. Nola with the strikeout upside. Ohtani with the strikeout upside. Taillon for the price. I have Taillon and Ohtani in one of my main ones. And I have the two expensive guys in my other one, Nola and Rodon, on DraftKings. I'm getting a little bit of Ian Anderson in there and a little bit of my other guy, Barrios. I don't have, by the way, I only have 2 extreme pitchers umpires on the slate tonight, and they are in extreme hitters umpires. No extreme pitchers. Oh, that I have anyway.
Is that right?
Yeah, but I have those in the extreme hitters in Baltimore, so Toronto, and the other one is in the Dodger game. But I'm not going to play the Dodgers.
KC. I'll tell you, these no DeGrom lineups look really, really good if he doesn't play.
Yep.
I mean, I'm spread. I mean, all those 7,500 pitchers. What about we talked about it for just like 2 seconds. You like John Gray at all or no?
Considered him. I don't think that it makes enough sense.
Okay. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna start. Let's see what these look like with no DeGrom. DraftKings can't get mad if I show what I had. I don't have it anymore. Put this over here. I can't show that. And what does this look like when I do that? This is nice and spread. This is there's the Philly guy. John. Okay. Yeah, the no my no DeGrom lineups have a little too much Pablo Lopez, I think. Mm-hmm. Let's put this like this.
I'm not on the Pablo Lopez thing.
What's
I
that?
love him in general, but between the bad matchup, bad pitchers umpire, it's not really enough for me to get to him today. Washington lineup is out. Looks like we have no Zimmerman, so you can't use that value.
Okay.
Harrison batting 7th. Turner, Soto, Bell, Castro batting fourth.
There's a little too much.
Give me for 1 second, guys, and I'll jump right back in.
Yeah, I'll get to questions in a sec. I just want to do another no DeGrom build here. Boom. This one. This one. This one. On Anderson.
All right.
Rodon, Anderson. Okay. This one is that flip. That flip. King. Okay. What is Ian Anderson is 86. And then that's fine. All right, let me go back to FanDuel. Let's pull up the no DeGrom FanDuel lineup or build. We'll change that, and then we will do the NBA, I promise.
Man, this is pretty ugly.
What's that?
Pretty ugly what I'm trying to do here. It's trying to find any pivot off of Segura on DraftKings. I'm not having any success. Wow, second base has just been brutal lately.
Second base?
It's a brutal position, man.
Yep. I'm going to change this. Change my big one. Then I will get to the questions. Sorry about this. Oh, this looks so good.
Yeah, this is ugly.
Yeah. Okay, let's get some questions, then we'll do NBA. All right, let's see some questions here. All right, so what are the 4 top stacks tonight on FanDuel? Okay, so my top stacks on FanDuel, number 1 is Philly, number 2 is Toronto, and then a pretty decent sized drop to Cincinnati, and then a bunch under that. So those would be my top three, just totally in a vacuum, right? Top four stacks. So Philly, Toronto, and Cincinnati. Those would be my top three.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah,
I have Philly, Toronto, San Diego, and then Texas over there.
Okay.
But I like Cincinnati. Makes a lot of sense from a price standpoint for sure.
Yeah. One of the beat writers for the Mets says he doesn't think the game is happening. Yeah, you know what you could just do? Like you could just go under Twitter and go under Mets weather, like all these things. Steve Cohen says the weather is getting better. So you think you get an 8:55 first pitch. Mets booth, severe weather is approaching. Please make way to your concourse area.
There's a line of storms coming in at 10.
Yep, Philly.
Dangerous.
Intense thunderstorm approaching Citi Field now. If you're there, take cover. Now someone says the weather clears out at 10.
I have the.
No, but that's a bullshit guy. If you spend $1,000 flying here just to see the Mets play a sport you know depends on the weather, you deserve what you get. It's very helpful. Biblical weather. New York Mets tonight start will news. Mets going to try to wait for weather to clear because this determines whether or not DeGrom gets 2 more starts. There's no way in hell we're playing this weather. Just LO cancel the game.
I'm down to 10% DeGrom on DraftKings.
There it is. I'm right now on 0.
8 from 100.
Let's see. But here's a question. If you're oh my God, look, excuse me. All right, so I want you to compare like the previous view to this one. I don't know if you could tell. It is grim here. It is dark.
Yeah.
It is dark in Linkoping.
It's rough stuff.
But again, we knew that, but we knew it was going to rain now. That's not the issue. The issue is what happens in a couple. After this clears, do they number one try to play? Number two, if they do try to play, is DeGrom going to pitch? Number three, if DeGrom does play after waiting an hour and a half, how much longer do they go?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I wouldn't try Alonso one off in that game, Adam. I just don't think I would. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think you can do it. Yeah, it's tough. Any other types of questions, guys, before we jump into basketball? I'm just going to take a quick look and make sure.
Okay, I just heard the first thunder. So, and again, I'll tell you this. If you guys want to inch the other side bet, like, what are the odds that there's a power outage here and this entire stream just fails? Because that could happen. That is totally in the cards right now.
Ooh, that would be really something.
Yeah, no, I mean, dude, Mother Nature's rough. It's the wind and it's all blowing, man. The only thing I've going for me also is that the NBA doesn't lock until like 9. So if I lose all my power, I have like another hour and a half before I have to make a decision of what I want to do with Giannis over there.
Yeah.
All lineups are in. Okay. And it is officially pouring rain now, by the way.
Wow, that weather system you guys have out there.
Yeah. Nope.
Then again, when we get rain here, people start driving like they've never driven before in their life.
Right.
All kinds of other madness.
Dude, you're 100. Chris, you're 100% on Valdez on FanDuel.
Hey, there you go.
That's pretty ballsy, man. I don't know how I would do that, but
I don't think it's the worst play, though. I mean,
no, I'm not saying it's the worst play, but
I actually think I'm finding myself like looking at him a little bit longer. I don't mind it.
Okay, Chris, let me ask you a question. Chris, I don't know if you have a Samsung or an Android. How exactly do I even do that? How do I mass swap out a player on my phone on DraftKings? I cannot figure it out at all. I mean, it's totally ridiculous that I can't figure it out. I could do each individual entry that I can do, but you know how you have like the mass global player swap on you can do FanDuel, you can do it on my desktop, I just keep meaning to email DraftKings, but I just get so tied up with other stuff. I don't know where on this phone I could mass swap out a player on DraftKings in baseball. If anybody has the answer to that without me having to email DraftKings, I would really appreciate it.
They tried it for a bit that I tried it. It didn't work. And then I don't
know.
Yeah, there was a brief period where they had that on
their
app, but it's annoying. I'm with you.
One minute. We could root for our pick 5 at Asanobia Downs that I'm gonna be playing. That's something. Yeah, at FTI I could change a player too. Yeah, I don't know, Adam. We're both. Well, I don't know. I can't speak for Bobby, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm more on. I think on Talia on FanDuel than Anderson. Well, maybe not. Let me see. I'm actually going to tell you right now what I have.
Actually, I mean, I sort of have Anderson really close with Castillo.
Okay. Actually, I have right now. I have 26% Anderson, 22% Taillon. I'm all over the place. I got some everybody. I mean, I got some Rodon. I have some Wainwright. I have 9% of someone I'm totally embarrassed to admit to you.
Say it. Just say it, Sheets.
Merrill Kelly.
I knew you were going to say that. By the way, it's actually the one time you probably should play him. Colorado outside of Coors. Why not?
Oh, the lights just blinked in the house. Uh-oh, here we go.
All right. Any other questions before we jump? We can do a quick basketball thing. I don't think it's going to take very long.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, definitely. Well, we have the generator though. Yeah, so I'm not sure. You know what? One thing that is cool about all these FanDuel Showdown lineups I am playing, they all leave you like billions on the table. Oh, and by the way, you guys want to root? So the first, I'm taking my challenge very, very seriously. By the way, about wanting to win a GPP in every sport. So to wit, I present you with my current tennis results.
How did it go?
I'm actually live going to tomorrow. I have a bunch of lineups that are 4 for 4 with 2 matches to go, and I got some combos. So we shall see what happens. Well, I'll end up splitting up like zillions of people. They're all 8 matches, but whatever. I want to win. I would like to win. And then we will ask Crane who did better, wherever he is. And big, we might have some bonus content coming up, guys, because very important pool is going to be occurring after tomorrow night, and I have to really bone up and study. it's going to be some serious Big Brother content coming out. Because Big Brother has its debut tomorrow night, and there will be Big Brother pools that I will be participating in.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know you were a Big Brother fan.
Oh yeah, me and my daughter are totally into Big Brother.
You know, it's embarrassing. I always feel embarrassed to say this, but I actually have watched, I think, almost every Big Brother thing.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, my daughter's entry got third to Big T's sister last year in the in his Big Brother pool. Not exactly sure if it was actually his sister, or maybe he was just gaming and multi-entering the Big Brother pool. I don't know. We'll see. Boston pitcher Evaldi. I very rarely play Evaldi. I usually find a reason to go against him, but he brings heat.
Yeah, this would be a night where you probably could play him a little bit.
WW Fresh with a "What's up, brother?" Very nice. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think Bobby. You know, we could use out of Bobby because this is not like my thing. Like Bobby could. You know, I want a 6-figure one for Bobby.
Okay, take another 6-figure one. That would be good.
Yeah, Bobby. I want a 6-figure Bobby. I just kind of resign myself to the fact that just the way I play, I'm just never in a position to win that much. So I look for the 5-figure one for Bobby. I really want a 6-figure one out of Bobby. That's what I want. Thank you. It could be tonight, right? They pay over $100,000 first in these things.
Yeah, I would take it, man.
Okay, so let's give what's his name 10 minutes of NBA. If you want, can you do that or no?
Yeah, I can do that.
Somebody in the Discord said that he and his partner or his friend or whatever, they won seats into like into a bigger buy-in. Let's say a bigger buy-in showdown entry than they're used to playing or whatever, and they really want to do well. It's really it's tough, man. Without being sure about what's going on with Giannis, though, it's tough to really say at this particular time. I'm gonna go back to what I said before: is that if Giannis is out, that my kind of hoodoo play that I'm just gonna get more of than anybody is gonna be Bryn Forbes.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to be locking in the chalk. I'm going to be locking in Middleton. I'll be locking in Drew. So I don't really know how I'm going to get too different there. But I guess Bryn Forbes is going to be the guy, I guess.
Yeah, I like Cam Johnson, and I also like Cameron Payne.
Okay.
And I like Forbes too. But not as much as you do. They do play more guards, so keep that in mind. That should keep Portis off the court a little bit more, maybe Forbes on the court a little bit more.
So this is interesting. So actually, the current build that I have in my DraftKings lineups right now is actually one assuming Giannis plays. When he got upgraded to questionable, I redid everything. And actually, the one that assumes him playing, I only have 40% Giannis in those.
Good luck.
Yeah. Well, dude, you know what that means, right?
What's that?
I got 60% with, I got 40% live. You know what I mean? Like if he does well, I got 40%, right? That's good. Yeah, but I do have your man. I do have 50% Cam Johnson.
Yeah.
And this could be the hoodoo. So in those builds, I actually have 60% Dario Saric. Beats me.
Yeah, I can't get to the Dario Saric tonight. I just don't. I don't see this. I get it. No, I mean it's fine. It's
you do. I don't.
There's a story for the other guys. I don't feel like Saric. They don't need to spell minutes with him. They don't need to play him at all. They may. They may just keep rolling with what they've been doing. Same with Torrey Craig. It's interesting because former team and all that, which has been the story, 3rd round in a row now, I believe. Or no, just a couple rounds in a row. But just the 2nd one in a row. No, third one in a row. I can't get to Torrey Craig because I feel like they needed him for defensive purposes in the last series, and I don't know what to do with him in this one personally. Ayton, Booker.
That's funny. The consensus in the RG NBA Discord is that they don't think Giannis is playing.
It's possible.
I'm with you, man. I don't know. I can't. I just think he's playing. I don't know.
It truly does depend on I don't think there's anybody who knows the answer right now. I think if you asked him right now, he'd say he's playing. I think that if you asked, it's going to depend on how he looks on the court.
So I have a dumb question, and you should. I don't know if you know how it works in the NBA. Why is it that they have to announce if he's playing or not? I mean, why don't they just suit up and then see what happens? Why?
Why wouldn't they have to? Why would you have to announce who's playing in every sport?
Oh, you do? I didn't know that.
Well, of course you do. You get baseball lineups out beforehand. There's a rule.
Right. Oh, there is a rule. So I'm wondering. So there is a rule. Like if they don't rule him out, they don't have to play him, right? I mean, like.
No, they don't have to play him.
That's what I'm saying. So what benefit do they have of announcing a guy out? You know what I mean?
Benefit do they have of announcing someone out? What do you
just announce everybody available, and
it's a rule. I don't know what else to say to you. Like, it'd be really weird if Giannis was active. If they say they have to announce starting lineup, so if they announce him starting, it'd be pretty weird to just pull him. They could do it. I don't think they would do that in the first game, in my opinion. Pretty unprecedented.
I'm sure there are rules. That's what I'm saying. I'm sure that there are all kinds of rules like that.
Yeah,
I just didn't know what they are. That's all.
Yeah. It's but it makes sense to. I mean, like people are. I mean, Willis Reed would have been the perfect example of a guy who was out there for he wasn't really out there to play basketball. Let's put it that way.
Right.
And I'm right now getting all of my lineups settled in with Giannis.
Yeah, right now I'm operating on the. My lineups right now have him playing.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a previous build all ready to go. If they announce him out, and that game doesn't start till 9, right?
Right.
Yeah, so I got time for that. I'll already have incredible equity, probably one way or the other, on this DeGrom thing. Which, by the way, guys, true transparency, I've made my decision on that, and there will be 0 in this house.
Of what?
DeGrom.
Yeah, I'm pretty much close to there myself. I mean, for anything that really matters other than long shot, Luke tournaments or whatever, I just don't see. I'm not going to get involved in that right now.
Yeah.
And by the way, there's still a path that he puts up 25 fantasy points if he pitches.
Of course.
It's not like he can't.
There was remember he to get pulled. He got 22 fantasy points in 3 innings.
Yeah, exactly. Watch, he'll go out and be pitching, and he'll strike out the first 6, and then they'll announce that there's something wrong in his glove, and they've got to pull him out or something.
Oh my God, that'd be so sick. Let me give one more update over here. See if anything I know about NBA, MLB, and then I'll just get out of here, I guess. This ownership going to go down. Yankees late night hammer. It's not the worst idea in the world.
No, I think it's a really good idea. Actually, I just didn't end up getting into it much myself, but I like it.
I do that math. 55% owned.
Who, DeGrom?
Yeah. $700. It stopped raining here, but that doesn't mean anything. All right. Sorry we couldn't be. again,
I feel like we said what we're doing. You know what I mean? This is nothing else we can do.
no, it's fine. It's that's got too much going on.
I have some Nola and Rodon, but I have also Otani and a Tyon as two of my favorites. And I understand there's risk with Tyon, but I'm willing to embrace it. And that's the
oh shoot! So I can do that 8 o'clock thing tomorrow.
Okay, no problem.
All right, guys. I will. Best of luck to all of you, and I'll catch up to you later.
Yeah, good luck, everybody.